Recently, cultural leaders were getting vehicles from the president, and that got me thinking about a similar thing, but where it's church leaders, like church leader. President has donated ABCD to this particular church leader and stuff like that. And it got me thinking, these are people that actually interact on a day-to-day basis with the people affected by the corruption issues, the bad governance issues in this country. For example, cultural leaders, these are the people supposed, to feel for their people. Kumbe, this is a tribe, stuff like that. Church leaders in your congregation, that's where there are people who can't afford school fees. That's where kids are dropping out of school left, right, and center. Girls don't have period poverty, period products and stuff like that. But what's so funny is that these people are always at the front line of people that are ready to get any benefits that come from the dictator or the person oppressing the other people, the people within these very, constituencies. Let me call them that for lack of a better word. But you know what hurts me most? If most of you read my bio, my TikTok bio, you'll see that it has Christian there. Because it really hurts me when I see church leaders do this. Because as a church leader, when you read the Bible, prophets would go to kings and tell kings, you're evil, you're wrong, and the Lord is going to punish you. You're doing the wrong thing. Repent from your ways. Bichi. Prophets, men of God, guided leaders on how to lead better. And they didn't just end on guiding the leaders to lead better. When the leaders went astray, they mentored younger leaders to overthrow, to take after the leaders that were leading poorly. But how do tables turn so fast that in this generation, one, religious leaders pretend to be apolitical? But they're not really apolitical. They just don't want their congregations to associate with political dissent. You get? Because if they were not political, then they wouldn't be getting these vehicles from the president in the first place, or ministers, or whoever is giving them out. Secondly, they would also encourage people from supporting the government, but they don't. They just discourage them from supporting anything that is anti-government. You get? So it's not really their stand to be a political. That's not their stand. Instead, they become part of a system that legitimizes oppression of people. And these are the very people in their congregations. And you know why? Because most times they are similar. They are also oppressing their congregations. They are forcing them to give offertory. And I'm not against offertory because it's biblical. Giving is biblical. Come on, you should give. But are you being coerced to do that giving? You get? That's where the point is. So you find that most times they cannot even speak up about these issues because they're also similar. But we need to go back to the time where religious leaders held leaders accountable, where they even encouraged their members to hold governments accountable, because oppression affects everyone. Because even God is fair and just. Jesus himself was a full-fledged activist. So we have to beat ourselves in our chests, especially leaders, religious leaders. People cannot be budgeting and stealing money in the budget. You look at the speaker's budget or the deputy speaker's budget, and it has more money than essential ministries, than essential sectors of this country. One individual is spending the money that could pay fees for thousands of students according to how their UPE, USE funding looks like. Because it's just 20K per term per student. 20K per term per student. But you have an individual with over trillions of money. This should be an eye-opener to you Ugandans. Who especially belong in systems where you want to keep quiet and not speak. Because Guys, let me stop my ranting here. But yeah, it just disturbs me that religious leaders who interact with people that suffer from these poor systems directly, see for their own eyes, can allow to be tools of oppression in this country.